on this computer.
Oh,
All right, we are recording.
Sweet. And it notified me that we're recording.
Nice.
And we are on our end.
Awesome. Come one, come all. Welcome back to Chiowa. We are at episode 79. As always, I am Michael Olson alongside my good buddy, Michael Stanfa. How we doing, my man?
Pretty good. Had a pretty solid weekend. But before we dive into that, you have some pretty exciting news about some event that's coming up in about a week.
Well,
and I want to fucking talk about that because I'm still on cloud nine for you.
Podcast. I have a race coming up this weekend, but the following weekend that we're talking about right now is I got access to Cubs tickets, which I'm super stoked about. Only 20% capacity for this year, at least to start right now. But first Saturday day game, sitting in the bleachers with some friends. Gonna be great. Can't wait.
April 3rd, right?
April 3rd, the first Saturday day game. First Saturday game at Wrigley in over a year, and I got looking up to get tickets, so I can't wait.
So I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so envious, but so happy that you get to go.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. It was kind of throw your name in the hat drawing to kind of see when your name gets drawn for tickets, and I got an email the other day that said, "Hey, your name's up, and if you want to, try to get tickets, you'll have access. Here's this code. You can log in at 1 p.m. on the 23rd, and good luck trying to get them." So
you got them for the first Saturday bleacher game.
Yeah. So they were available for the first 6 games. So the 1st to the 7th is when I think the first game's on the 1st. Is that right?
Yeah. We open up on Thursday and then Friday off, and then Saturday is the first. So it's the second game of the season.
It's like, okay, second game of the season. I didn't know if it was the second or the third. But yeah, so got it just logged in right at 1, and I had tickets by so opened at 1. I think I had tickets by 1 in 40 seconds.
So did you buy 40 seconds? Did you buy one ticket for yourself, or were you able to buy a pack?
So they're doing 4 pod seating this year. So you can buy you can buy 2, 3, or 4, depending on what's available. The availability. And I had clicked the left field bleachers. And you could go by section.
Great place to sit.
Yep. And there's only 2 pods left in that section of the bleachers. It was a set of 2 and a set of 4. So I grabbed a set of 4, going with 3 buddies, and yeah, it'll be great. Super excited. It's gonna be hopefully the weather holds out. Obviously, it can be chilly in April, but it'll just be great to be back.
Doesn't
out
matter.
In the
if it's 30 degrees, you guys are gonna be there.
Yeah,
probably
121st pitch.
Not too blitzed, but having a great time.
Super excited. But yeah, 121st pitch on the 3rd, so next Saturday. So I can't wait.
That's so exciting.
So yeah, so run an ultra this weekend. Drink a bunch of beers next weekend.
Yeah. Do you know, are they going to have, what kind of regulations are they going to have about concessions or lines or all that?
Good question. I think how it works, and I just heard this not from the tickets that I got today, but from, I think, just hearing how it's going to work from just reading online or, reading the Trib or whatever. I think they have assigned concessions that your section goes to. So you can't go to some other place. You can't walk the concourse and go buy a Dippin' Dots in right field when your concession is assigned to left field. So I think that's how they're trying to do it. I'm sure we'll get more information as we get down to the next week. And obviously there hasn't been any games, so no one really has any intel on experience in it firsthand. So yeah. Anyways, I'll have a full recap for how that experience goes. Maybe I guess not next week's episode, but the following. So yeah, super excited. Can't wait.
I'm so excited for you. It's going to be so great. I'll be watching on my ass here at home.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be on TV if you can get the actual game. I mean, the Marquee Network sucks.
I'm going to have to stream it. Marquee fucking sucks.
It does.
It's so bad.
There's only going to be, Wrigley's got, 42,000 seat capacity. I think it's.
And they're doing 20%.
So 20% capacity. It's only going to be less, 8,400 seats. So who knows? We'll be in the bleachers, so maybe we'll be on TV.
Honestly, it'll probably be, if you're in left field bleachers, it'll be pretty easy to, pick you out of a crowd.
Definitely.
Definitely. There's not much of a crowd.
4 drunk assholes waving their, probably with their shirts off, waving their shirts. So
I hope so. I hope regardless of the weather, you're 4 drunk assholes waving your shirts around.
But anyways, yeah, excited about it. But what I'm more excited about is to hear about how your 50K went this past weekend. You were out in Davenport, and you ran the 100Ks of convenience, which is more of the 50Ks of the convenience this year. But I want to hear all about it. Talk about the pre-race stuff, what you did. What was packet pickup like? What was the start line like? Were there waves? What did racing in 2021, kind of during this COVID pandemic look like?
Sure. So first of all, shout out to Josh Sun and the Quad City Turds, the Quad City Trail and Ultra Runner dudes and dudettes. and everybody who volunteered, and they put on a great race. I think that any race would have been a great race. It's been
Yep, I'm back now. So
okay.
it paused there for a second. You said you were you're talking about it'd be any great race would be a great race if, and then you kind of paused. So that's the
Oh,
last I
okay.
heard.
Well, then I'll start over. So for the people listening on the podcast, you'll get this again.
Yeah,
Any race would be a great race to have, just because we haven't ran or raced in 18 months, or haven't ran in 18 months.
right.
Um, and also Josh and his whole group, the Quad City Turds, did an excellent job as per usual. I think this is the third or fourth of their events that I've attended, and every time they've done a great job. Um, they did a good job, putting safety regulations in place. The park that we were at had plenty of room to kind of spread out. So before the race, I didn't feel like I had to be, close to anybody if I didn't want to be.
Yep.
Um, they did a good job, separating and, making sure that people were mindful, stay socially distanced. If you're talking to someone, that's fine. But, be safe,
Right.
before
And that's how
anything
it should
else.
be.
So
That's how
they
it should
did, they
be.
did a great job with that. Yep. So then for me, the too long don't read of our or of my trip was, I left on Friday afternoon. We have some friends who live in the Davenport area, or a friend who's from the Davenport area, and I was texting him about campsites because I was just going to camp the night before, and he's like, "Oh, let me see if my parents would have you." So he got in touch with the parents. His parents are both fully vaccinated. I'm half vaccinated and don't have COVID or any COVID systems. So they were gracious enough to
Nice.
open up their home. So I stayed there the night before, which was wonderful. A
That's
nice warm
awesome.
bed, rather than camping somewhere. Oh, I love camping, but so great.
Yeah.
So
March is a
got
little
up, did
chilly.
pack. It was a little chilly
Yeah.
this past weekend. So got up, pack a pickup was at 7:15. So I went to pack a pickup. They were pretty well spread out. Picked up my bib, picked up my swag, this shirt. If you're on the YouTube,
Yeah.
or
It's
watching on
awesome.
YouTube, just like a thin hoodie. I love this hoodie. Honestly, we should do this race every year from now into infinity, because the hoodie's sweet and the swag is sweet. And I'll show
Yeah.
you the clock that I got to do.
Absolutely. You sent me a picture after the race on Saturday and it looked awesome. And I've never done one of Josh's races, but I mean, you've done three of them now. You've done Mind to Span,
Yeah.
you've done 50 Ks of convenience or 100 Ks of convenience to 50K two times now. And all the swag that you have from there are always awesome. So, like any race, I'm like always like, oh, what does the swag look like? And Josh's swag is always fucking fire. So I definitely need to do that one of these years. I mean, if anything else, just for the
Yeah.
hoodie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great hoodie. Really cool finisher awards for the 50K for this year. Um, but yeah, so the day started, picked up my stuff, went back to the car, and ate a little food and kind of prepped myself and got ready to go down. We did our little announcement. They did not release us in waves, just because there were
Okay.
only, I don't know, 25 people or so. So
Right.
we just kind of all went off at once at 8 o'clock.
I want
Morning
25
started
people.
out
Okay.
perfectly. It was, yeah, so not a ton, maybe
Yeah.
a few more, but I'd have to look online.
But right.
Um,
That's small
but
group. Small group.
yeah, pretty small group of people. Um, but it was a little chilly in the morning. Uh, like comfortable but still cold. Like needed gloves and everything, which ended up being a little bit of a problem. I ended up having a little bit of chafage issue in
Uh,
an area where I'm not gonna disclose any more
use your
information.
imaginations, folks.
Yeah, use your imagination. But then it warmed up eventually, and it was just perfect, pristine day, not a cloud in the sky, just
Nice.
absolutely gorgeous. Um, about a mile into the race, I was kind of stride for stride with this guy, Andrew, and ended up striking up a conversation with him, and we ran the next 30 miles together.
Really?
Pretty
That's
much the whole
awesome.
thing. We
That's
were
the
together
best.
the whole time.
That's the best.
It was
Where's
great.
Andrew from? Is he from
He
Davenport? Is he from Des Moines? I mean, where's he from?
he's
Gotta think of
from
his last name or
Marengo,
anything. But
Iowa.
okay, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So he's from Marengo.
Nice.
So, but Marengo, Iowa is not too far from Iowa City. So he runs with a group out of Iowa City. Knows that Josh, and he knew a lot of the people at the race that
Cool.
I didn't know. I know a small handful, but yeah. So Andrew and I would talk to other people, hang out with other people while we were going, but we were pretty consistent with our pace and our comfort and all that kind of stuff. So that was great. And another aspect of this race. So for people who don't know about it, I've talked about it before. The concept of the original race is 100 Ks of convenience. Um, so you run 100K, and your aid stations are at convenience stores. So the first time I did it, I did the 40-mile version with Mark. and we stopped every 5-ish miles at a high V. And then obviously the start finish was its own aid station. So 3 aid stations, you have to hit them in the correct order every time, but the route itself is not set in stone.
Okay.
You can, so if you're with a local and the local knows a shortcut, you can take the shortcut. Doesn't matter. We were fortunate enough to be running pretty much with locals or right behind locals for the first loop, and we shaved off like a half mile.
Oh,
When we got
nice.
back to the start finish, Josh was like, "Oh, how'd you guys do?" We came in just under 15 miles for the first loop, and he seemed kind of surprised, according to Andrew. He's like, "Yeah, Josh was surprised that we were able to shave off enough or a decent amount."
Nice.
And a lot of that came, I think, so it started in Davenport. We ran across the Centennial Bridge and into Rock Island, and then hit both
That's the
aid
bridge that
stations
goes
in Rock Island.
from
Huh?
Iowa to Illinois, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. We went from Iowa to Illinois. And then we cut off some behind a hospital, which was just like through some parking lots.
Yep.
And then we cut off some cutting through Augustana University's or Augustana College's campus,
Oh, nice.
which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I visited Augustana when I was looking at colleges, and I know we always
Gorgeous.
wanted a bigger school, but it was a beautiful campus. Yeah, a gorgeous campus. Yeah,
It's gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah.
My oldest sister Karen went there.
I didn't know
And
that.
the couple times we visited, it's the campus itself is much bigger than the student body size. I
Yeah.
think like
Yeah.
it's not, I don't know if it's spread out necessarily, but it's a big, like, beautiful, pretty campus.
Kind of
Just
rolling
not-
hills
not-
too, right? Like, there's some rolling hills in the campus, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
when we came in, we had a lot of our elevation loss on campus.
Okay.
Like we took like, I don't know, we probably took like 70 or 80 stairs down at one point,
Got it.
and then went through the rest of campus. And then let's see, the second aid station was then at this, like, in this industrial park just off the bike path, but like in the middle of these ruins, which there's ruins, I guess, in Rock Island, Illinois. But it was kind of cool. If I didn't know where they were, I would not have been able to find them. I'm
Sure.
sorry, if I wasn't with a local, I wouldn't have been able to find them, because we were literally like running on a road, and then you look to the right, and then there's ruins, and then inside this old building, which is obviously not, it's ruined, so it's not there anymore, is like an aid station. And then that,
wow.
just on the other side of that was the bike path that we hopped on to then take us back to the start.
Got it. Very cool. Very
So,
cool.
yeah, I had a lot of fun. Ran, comfortably the whole time. Ran at just under 6 hours. Wasn't a ton of elevation change. There was basically one big hill up after we crossed into Illinois, and then we came down again through Augie's campus, and then slowly until we got back to the Centennial Bridge.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Did for
yeah,
the
it was
aid
a great time.
stations? I know, like in the previous years, you have to get a receipt to prove that you were at the convenience stores. What did you have to? I mean, was there somebody manning the aid station that like checked your bib to show that you were there, or how did they prove that you were at aid station that was in the building that was like torn down? How did they prove that?
Good question. So the first aid station was actually like on the end of someone's driveway. So somebody who I think is probably part of their run group volunteered to have the aid station there, and it was in the right general area.
Got it.
So that was the first aid station. So we went up this big hill and then ran through some neighborhoods and then got there. And then there were volunteers there, and they like checked off, like, took down our bib numbers basically when we came through.
Got it.
With the time. Same thing with the second aid station. The second aid station was manned, or there were people there working it, and they did the same thing. They kind of checked our bib number off to say this person kind of came through.
Got it.
So it worked out, pretty nicely. Packet pickup was super smooth. They didn't really release us in waves. Everybody was wearing a mask unless they were like actively running, and even then, there were times where if we were passing people or going by a big group, throw the buff over my mouth. So I think they did a fantastic job.
Nice. What buff did you wear? Did you like show that you'd run the Mines of Spain? Did you wear that one, or what did you wear at the race?
I brought that one. I had that one in case I wanted to change it, but I was actually wearing one of the Badger buffs.
Nice.
So, and actually, I saw Scotty Coomer there.
That's right.
So
nice.
I saw Coomer there in the morning.
So there's only 25 people there. I mean, you knew obviously the race director. You knew Scott Coomer. Who else was out there running? Is anyone else you knew or recognized?
So I recognized one other name. I don't know the face. I don't know who. I've never like actually met her before, but Bonnie Bush is a prominent like Davenport Quad Cities runner. But I didn't recognize
did Michael Crane run it? From, like, Josh's good buddy Michael Crane that we ran with a couple times.
Oh yeah, Michael Crane ran it too.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
You must have checked the and I ran with Crane for like a decent amount of the first half.
I think I saw on Strava that he had like ran part of it. I'm not sure if he actually
Yeah,
finished or not, but I think I saw
he
he
did.
had at least ran part of it.
Yeah. So long story short, we ran with him for a couple miles in the
Oh,
back end,
nice,
and he
nice.
had just he was on like a road trip this past week. I'm not
Oh,
going to get
okay,
into any details. So he
right.
was just kind of burnt out and like exhausted. And he's like, nah, I'm not really having fun. So
Yeah,
he did
and
the
wife.
first
Yeah,
half, and then he ran another 5,
nice.
which is whatever. Who
That's
cares?
great.
Yeah, he was out there, had fun, still got a nice 20 miles in. And then he and Josh are training for another race right now,
Oh, cool. Nice.
later in the year.
Awesome.
So, so yeah, I take that back. I knew Crane and Scott. Talked to Scott in the beginning for a little bit, and then he was running with someone else from the 10 Junk Miles community.
Cool.
So I think that was her first 50K.
Awesome.
Um,
That's
so
fantastic. Shout out
yeah,
to
I think
her,
they just
whoever, whatever her name is.
yeah,
Huge accomplishment.
exactly. Yeah, I'm sure he'll talk about it on their next episode.
Yep.
But yeah, no. And then another thing they did really well was they stocked the aid stations with fantastic food.
Ooh,
And
give me all. That's the important stuff for two now. Give me
I'll
all the details on the food. I mean,
I'll
that's
give you
all.
the
This is
details.
just a. This has gone from a running podcast to just an eating podcast. So please tell me all the food that you ate, and I will just be envious the entire time. So
Yep.
the
So I
floor is
think
yours.
part of the reason why it was so good was just because I haven't had aid station food in that
Yeah,
quantity in a long time.
it hits different for sure.
It really does. So it was good enough to the point where I brought a bunch of food, planning to just refill at the truck and then
Right.
like eat some stuff at the aid station. I ate none of it.
Ooh. Okay.
Literally none of it. So and I didn't eat any of it on my way home either, which is bad because now I have
Just a bunch of
uh,
snacks.
Pringles and snacks and M&M. I actually finished M&Ms today, and a bunch of other crap that I do not need, just at home. So I'm just gonna eat those over the next 3 or 4 days.
Oh no, what a
Not good.
bummer that is.
I know, quite terrible. But so I wrote it down. I wrote down the food
Oh
because I
hell
knew
yeah.
I would forget it.
Yep.
So first aid station had some taquitos and pizza.
Ooh, what kind of
Taquitos?
like taquitos are so good, man.
So
Oh,
good.
so good.
They're so good. And honestly, I would have eaten them together if I
The
wanted
beef
to.
or chicken ones? Beef or chicken? You
They were
know,
beef.
beef. Okay,
Yeah, I think they were beef.
nice.
Honestly, I don't even remember because
Doesn't
they were
matter.
just
They're
so
delicious
good.
regardless.
I just
Yep.
ate them. I ate them
Yep.
so quick. And then at one point later in the race, I think on that first lap, me and Andrew were running with a woman, and we were just kind of running along, and she goes, "Oh, I forgot," and she pulled a taquito out of her pouch and
Elite.
started eating it.
That's
Pocket
fucking
taquitos,
pocket taquitos. Hell
so
yeah,
good,
love that.
so good.
I might have
And
to
then
implement that. They're perfect
yep,
because they're skinny. You can slide right into like where your
oh
water
yeah,
bottle would,
yep,
would go. That's next
it's
level.
it's
That's next
perfect.
level.
It's elite.
Yes.
It's couldn't be
That's
better.
incredible. Pocket
And then I
taquitos.
just had a granola bar and some trail mix at the next aid station. Not too exciting. When I got back to the start finish, I had 2 hot dogs, which was just
Dude,
again
why didn't you
perfect.
get you gave on the Chiowa account you gave a hot dog like a mile 87 hot dog review and mile 64 hot dog review on our at the Badger 100. You should have gave us a fucking 50Ks hot dog
I should
review.
have done it again. I'm sorry.
Damn.
That's not what was on my mind. I know. I made a mistake.
Damn.
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I had some more pizza, M&Ms, and some more taquitos at the first aid station again coming around. More trail mix, which wasn't that fun. And then, trail mix is great, but whatever, it's not that sexy. And then at the end after the race, I had 2 more hot dogs, another taquito off the roller dog thing.
Four hot dogs.
4 hot dogs.
That's
4 hot dogs
impressive.
on the day.
Give me so mustard, ketchup, relish, anything, just straight,
during the
raw
race.
dogging.
During the race, I just did the hot dogs.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be in and out. I grabbed
Yeah.
one and ate it, and then I grabbed one for the road.
Right.
I was like, I don't want to spill
A
mustard.
little road dog.
Yeah, road dog. And then after the race, I had some mustard and a beer.
French's mustard, like regular, like neon yellow mustard, or like a
Just
little like
yellow
stone
mustard.
ground.
They had like mustard packets.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure they
just
didn't
some
have
yellow mustard packets,
Yep,
which
makes
was
sense. COVID
still
friendly.
perfect.
Yep.
Yep, COVID friendly. Yep, and then I had a beer after those 2 hot dogs, the taquito, and then like some cookies.
Awesome.
was
What
just,
kind of cookies
again,
and what kind of beer?
I don't remember what kind of cookies, to be honest. They were
They weren't
just
shortbread though. Your favorite?
no, they were like chocolate chip or like a Monster bar or something.
Okay.
Honestly, I grabbed it and just ate it while I was looking for other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I had a hazy little thing.
Yep, great beer.
Just so good.
Yep, all reliable.
Yep, it was perfect. And
That's
then
awesome.
I drove home after I had like a full Northern Algene thing of water. And yeah, on my way home, listen to the Drake game, listen to them lose, unfortunately.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
like down a couple more water bottles. Yeah.
And what
Had a
was
great
your
time.
first post race meal? What'd you have when you got home? 'Cause
Oh, we
obviously,
had Jethro's.
Yep, little barbecue.
Yep. I
Nice.
talked to Hill about an hour before I got home, and she was offering up ideas for food. She's like, I'll cook something, we can get something, pizza, wings, Mexican. And when she said wings, I immediately just jumped to Jethro's. So we got like 2 of those servings of
Nice.
their boneless wings,
Yep.
some of the fries, and some other stuff, and
Hell yeah.
had some more beer, and did nothing the rest of the day. Just watched basketball, and then also just watched basketball all day Sunday. And I feel great now. I feel fully recovered. So all that means is after your ultra, drink a bunch of water, eat a bunch of food, and just watch basketball.
Yeah, I mean
You'll be
that
good to
sounds like
go.
the perfect weekend every weekend. I mean, I did all those things this past weekend, but I didn't go on in a long run. So you actually earned your basketball beers and barbecue. I just did nothing and did everything the same, and now I feel like a piece of shit because I did all those things without exercising an
I
ounce.
wouldn't say
So,
that. I don't think you're a piece of shit.
well, I felt
You're
like it.
running an ultra this coming weekend, so it was a down weekend anyway
Yeah, there we go.
for you.
It was a planned rest weekend. We'll say that.
Exactly. But no, I think I was talking to Hill yesterday. We went on a couple walks. And she was asking about like recovery and like how I feel and all this stuff. And I'm a proponent personally for trying to be active after the fact,
Yep.
barring any sort of injury. I think that helps. I think that getting your lactic acid moving around, and I don't know if that's the right term, but
Yeah,
getting your body
definitely is.
moving helps. That active recovery is super helpful. So I did walk around after the race a little bit, and then I obviously drove 2.5 hours to get back home.
Right.
But then when I was at home, I was relaxing and being comfortable, but I wasn't just sitting on my ass the whole night. I was getting up, getting water, going up and down the stairs, like doing doing whatever I could do.
Yep. Stayed
Um,
loose.
yeah, stayed loose. I got like 11 hours of sleep that night,
That's
which
awesome.
there's no sleep better than like a post ultra sleep.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
it's just so good.
It's like, yeah, it's like everything like a sleeping pill does for you like on a normal night. You don't need that, and you sleep so much harder, and you wake up feeling like so much better. Like
Yep.
than like an actual like induced like sleep with like medicine. It's just like physical exhaustion and like the best rest you could ever have in your entire life.
Yep. It's so good. I think I woke up at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, which is way later than I normally sleep. Maybe even like 10:30. I felt great about it. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is fantastic. This is exactly what I need. And then yeah, on Sunday just watched basketball all day again. Made some pancakes in the morning. They were pretty
awesome.
good. And then yeah, just kind of hung around. And then yesterday, Monday, so today's Tuesday. Yesterday on Monday, Hill and I went for like a 2 mile walk at lunch and like a 2.5 mile walk after work, and I pretty much feel perfectly normal now.
Awesome.
A
That's
little
huge.
sore, but I was gonna run today, but then it started raining, so I'm just gonna wait one more day. So I was like,
Awesome.
now
And
whatever.
that's a huge W if you're like, a couple days removed and you're feeling like fresh and great. I mean,
Oh yeah,
for kind of training on this and for this race relatively quickly, that's got to be like a big confidence boost. And like you only really had a couple good weeks of training. I mean, maybe not, you're obviously you were still like in running shape, but you kind of just threw this together last second and
hmm
it sounds like it went pretty well.
yeah. I mean, so to be fair, like I did not run that much during January. January just like sucked the life out of me. Just sucked.
Yep.
Just after being home for 10 months basically, and whatever.
Cold,
Um,
snow.
yeah.
It was
Even though I
brutal.
also like was in Phoenix for 2 weeks in January, so January was actually pretty awesome, but February sucked.
Yes, February
Um,
did suck ass.
exactly. But yeah, just being like, I just wasn't running that much, and then the 3-ish weeks leading up to, I guess the 4 weeks before, I started to pick up, started to get nicer out. I started to run a little bit more and started to prepare like I was going to run this 50K, and knowing that I wasn't going to try to break any records or I wasn't going to try to set any PRs.
Right.
Just wanted to bring my base back up again. And I think I did. I think a lot of it too is we've been there before. Like I've done this distance. I don't know. I've done 50K
Numerous
probably
times.
a
Yeah.
dozen times, including and not including races. I knew I could do it. I knew mentally things were going to be fine. Um, and then another huge thing, which is completely out of our control, was the weather was so nice that day.
It's the
So like
best.
if it had been raining or if it was like super windy or snowy or whatever, it would have been easier for me to be like, nah, I don't really need to, finish this. I don't need to, complete this 50K halfway through, just kind of drop. But I was feeling good, and there's nothing wrong. There's never anything wrong with dropping if your head's not in it.
Definitely not.
Um, you know, especially if you have nothing to prove to anybody, but felt good and legs felt fine. So,
Awesome.
on mile 26, it felt like I'd just run 26 miles.
Right.
Like what do you
Right.
expect?
Exactly.
I'm not gonna
Exactly.
feel fresh, but
Yep. So what were
um,
some? So obviously you said the weather was awesome. That's a huge thumbs up. Sounds like you had a great running partner. But yeah, what was like a if you had to pick out one or two of the highs, outside of crossing the finish line, and maybe outside of you can still talk about it, but outside the start, because obviously that's a great feeling too. But
Mhm.
what was like the high point of the race, and then what was some of the points that eventually throughout when you're running 31 miles, you're gonna feel a little bit low at some point. What were the highs or the lows of this race?
Yeah. So to be completely like honest, I didn't really have any lows during this
That's
race.
huge.
There wasn't
That's
really a
huge.
time when I was like, why am I out here? Like the whole I think it helped too that I was running with somebody. I think if I'd
Definitely.
been by myself, that would have been much different. Um, but this is the first race that I've ever ran, including the marathon, that I've felt that way. Like I felt like, nah, like I feel pretty good the whole time. Like I, didn't have any lows, didn't have any thoughts about dropping or anything. So again, I think that's unique. I don't think that that's going to happen again. Probably for a long time. Most of the time, something's going to go wrong. But the other day, outside of the chafing issue, which I'm not going to get into, um, everything went pretty well. You
do,
know,
do you think part of that is because you hadn't raced in so long and you were excited about it and you were just kind of happy to be out there, or do you think it was also just maybe just a perfect day that you just felt good? Do you think that
Yeah,
played a
I
part?
think it's probably a combination of both. It's
Yeah.
probably, I hadn't been out there in 18 months after being used to running, 1 to 2 races, a year pretty consistently for the, 4 years prior or whatever. And then I also think like the day just went well.
Yeah.
Had a good
Absolutely.
had a good running partner, had a good it was a pretty good route, relative to, we're running through Davenport, we're not running trails. But even, given that it's not like we weren't running like busy city streets the whole time.
Right.
There's quite a bit of it that was pretty calming, pretty peaceful. Running through some neighborhoods, running through Augustana's campus, running along the river. That was pretty nice. And I also think like this was, I think, also the first ultra that I ran where I had no feet problems during the race or after the race. I
Nice.
usually lose
No
both my
toenails.
toenails, or at least one. I had
Yeah.
none. They're
Good.
completely intact. I got one blister, and that's already taken care of. Like it's Tuesday, and it's already
Right.
moved.
That's a W.
Yeah. So I think just with the weather the way it was, with the fact that it hadn't raced in so long, and yeah, I think things just went well.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm counting my blessings because that was very fortunate, and that doesn't usually happen.
So if no lows, I mean, what were the highs? And maybe we can obviously talk about the finish line if that's one of them. But what were some like the best parts of the race too?
Sure. So I really enjoyed exploring Davenport with some locals and taking some of those like shortcuts and then just going like off book,
Yeah.
whatever off book, off of the going just because that was kind of fun. And I was like, oh, we don't really know where we're going, but with trust that these people will take us there.
Right. Right.
So it was just kind of like fun. Um, Having the conversations that I did with Andrew, with the guy I ran with, was enlightening just because we're similar people, but also have had like plenty of differences and had some good stuff to talk about that, whatever I can bring up um,
Yeah.
uh, off
Was
show because
was
that's
he
not.
a seasoned ultra runner? Had he done him
Yep.
before? Yeah.
Yep. So
Cool.
he actually has done almost all the races that I have done.
Okay.
He has done Psycho Wyco. He's done the Boonville 50K. He's done Mines of Spain 100. He didn't do Badger, but he was pretty well versed in the ultra running
Cool.
community, ultra running scene.
Around Iowa.
So he
Yep.
was, yeah, he was comfortable. He kind of knew what he was doing. Just as much as I would expect you or I to know what we're doing,
Right.
be comfortable, have, kind of a plan set up and ready to go. So talking to him and getting to know him and, meeting someone who I felt like I could now, if I'm in Marengo, Iowa, I could call him up and, get a beer or whatever.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so I would say that was another high. And that again was just kind of stretched across the entire day.
Yeah.
There wasn't one point that was like, oh, this was the best part of the run or anything like that. But
Sure.
um and then yeah, just like seeing people in person, even though it was relatively distanced, even though it was mask up unless you're whatever drinking your beer, eating your food, just seeing people again, I think just was
Good for the soul,
wonderful.
man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
it's
think
very
that's
good
what
for the soul.
I mean. That's what makes the sport so great is the awesome people and being out there and kind of share that camaraderie again and that fun and bullshit and having a beer at the end is what makes it so great. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
awesome. I mean, and the fact when you don't have a low, I mean, it's difficult to pick out the high since you're not going through those valleys. So it
Exactly.
was just good vibes all day. It sounds like
Exactly. Yeah. And again,
nice.
I feel super fortunate that that's the way that it went, but that's how it went. I finished the race, cleaned up a little bit, had some food, had a beer, stretched out a little, and then I was like, I'm good to go. Drove 2.5 hours home. And
Nice.
normally, like after a race, don't feel that way. So
Right.
feel very, very fortunate that it
And
went the way that it did.
yeah, and you got yeah, you said you got an awesome sweatshirt because of it. Got an
Yep,
awesome like I think you got like a clock. It looked
I got a
like an
clock.
award
I'm gonna show
clock.
it to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
hold on.
yeah. For those who are on YouTube, you have to see this. Maybe we'll put it on the Instagram or something like that. But it looked like an awesome award. I think that they typically do custom awards. I don't know, Michael talked about the metal one he's gotten in the
I'm
past, but
back.
yeah, I was just saying how you've gotten a cool metal award in the past. It was kind of like a weird design, and this one's is a clock that is made out of like some like copper tubing. Yeah,
Yep,
super
got some
cool.
copper tubing, with like a wood, whatever square panel, and yeah, it's a fucking clock.
It's awesome.
It's
I mean, yeah,
awesome.
it's got
It's
your
so
it
cool.
says your 50K finisher on there. I mean,
Yep,
that's such a unique thing, such a cool thing
it's
that
dope.
so I've just given you. Not there's anything wrong with a medal, but that certainly stands out among the pack of a unique thing.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I just pulled it off the wall.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
don't have
already
medals hanging up. Like I have my belt buckle in the second bedroom, but the two things that I've gotten from here, being that weird silver thing and then this Glock, are the only two race things that are really displayed anywhere.
yeah.
Um, and I was talking to the same guy Andrew. He ran it last year. Um, Last year they got a painting. So
Very cool.
the guy who's made these every year, I think his goal is just to learn some new talent or
Ah,
some new skill.
okay,
So he just does. He painted everybody like a unique picture. I don't know how big it was. I don't think it was huge, but
sure.
whatever,
Still
nine
very
by
cool.
11. And the year before that, they got lamps.
Nice. All cool
Like
things.
they're just gonna eventually decorate like our entire
Yeah,
house.
someone's gonna do this in like in 15 years they're gonna have an entire house full of stuff just from this one race.
Yeah, don't hate it. Don't
No,
hate it
that's
at all.
awesome. Very very
Yeah,
cool.
so, super
So it sounds
dope.
like it was a huge success, man. And
Yeah,
you kind of gearing up. You excited? I know we can talk about it in a little bit. We're kind of looking. We're already looking at the horizon for the next one.
we are. So let's talk about your race first.
Okay.
And
We could
then
talk
we can
about it
talk
briefly.
about
I guess we can talk about it next week too. But I can
yeah, let's
mention it.
talk.
Then okay. You can
Yeah,
do whatever you
but
want.
but the last thing though I want to say, and I think I mentioned it in our group chat because Nate and Alex are running their first ultra this coming weekend.
Yes. Yes.
Some unsolicited advice: if and when you're running an ultra or running a race, and you hand your water bladder over to a very helpful, very kind, generous aid station worker, let them fill it up, but take it back before they try to close it,
Yeah.
because
If it's a bladder kind,
yeah,
if
if
it's
it's
like
a
one of those,
bladder
if
thing.
it's like just one of those flasks ones, no
Yeah,
problem.
just
But
because they close differently. Everyone closes differently than the next.
yes,
And I've had them not sealed properly before, and then like you put it on, and then
got a wet
water spills
back.
on your back,
Yep.
which is never comfortable. One of the again very generous aid station workers this weekend took it and was trying to like pry the clasp open to put it on like a chip clip when it was supposed to slide. So instead of they tried to go like this
Yep.
when it was supposed to slide like that. So
Right.
I just kind of took it back. I was like, oh nope, I got it. Don't worry. Again,
I mean,
they're very kind.
like you said,
But
there's a million different ways those clasps close.
yep,
And there's no way they can know all of them. Like if
yep,
you use a Solomon, flasks, then you're not gonna know how to close an Osprey, slide clasp,
hmm
bladder. So it's just there's a million different things to know how to close. And like you said, it's better just do it yourself than not put it on them to try to figure it out. And that way you don't have a wet
exactly.
back or a
Especially too
broken bladder.
because yeah, if you gave them 30 seconds or a minute, you can figure it out. But
Right.
oftentimes they want to be kind with your own time as a runner. They want to make sure you can get out as quickly as you can. They might try to just do it quickly, and
And they want to help somebody, the
sometimes they're
next
fine,
person
but
too.
sometimes it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was it. Only piece of unsolicited advice, but I'll keep on preaching that same piece of unsolicited advice
Yep.
for as
Eat
long as
early,
I
eat
shall
often.
live.
Drink early, drink
Yep,
often.
exactly. So you have a 50K coming up this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. The lakefront
Yep.
50K. It starts down near Hyde Park. Something like
What times it start?
starts at 8 in the morning.
Okay.
So you probably be there. I think same thing as you. No packet pickup the day before. So be there about 7. It sounds like Scott and I think the Flatlanders group is gonna be working on aid station. So maybe I'll see him out there working
So
the aid station. But yeah, I'm excited about it. First time in 18 months I'll be towing the start line. So can't wait for that. And then yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week on next week's show. But super stoked to be towing the start line like you felt this past Saturday, and just excited to be out there and meeting new friends. I'm not sure if I mentioned that on the last week's podcast, but the buddy I was supposed to run it with ended up testing positive for COVID, so he's out. I've since gotten tested, and I'm good to go. But bummed that he won't be out there. So Have to get Dan out on another 50K in the near future. But
Yep.
yep, super excited. Can't wait to be in the start line, and I'm sure we'll have a race recap of that one next week. But something we're both super excited about, and we'll also be able to kind of do a podcast out in a couple of weeks, is we're running a trail ultra together. Super stoked. Kind of just came together randomly
Yeah.
on this past week. I was actually looking for a follow up race for my buddy my buddy in the city to run with because he can't run this weekend. I was like, oh, let's find one that's like in the next month or two that we can kind of keep the training going for him so he can get his second ultra underneath his belt. And that's the Earth Day 50K out in
Yep.
Crystal Lake on April 17th. And you happen to just be gonna be in town visiting family in Geneva, and we're like, well, shit, let's see if we can't make this happen. And kind of came together and like, and I don't know, it seemed like in a matter of a couple hours, and now we're doing that one.
Yeah. Like literally you mentioned it and I knew I had something going on that weekend and then remembered that we're going to see Hill and I are going to go see my parents for the first time since Christmas of 19. We haven't seen them in,
Wow.
a long time, 16 months.
Wow.
Um so yeah, I was like, "Hill, would you want to let me do this? Not let me, but
Yeah.
like, hey, is this all
Be a
right with
part of
you?"
it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we both pulled the trigger probably within a matter of an hour or two. Super excited to do
Yeah.
another trail race. And obviously I signed up knowing what it was, but it wasn't until you said this is like a trail ultra that I got like super stoked.
Same.
I haven't run a trail, like a true trail ultra since mines, really a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, you know?
Yeah. I haven't done one since 19.
Yeah, probably since White Rock, right?
Yeah. White Rock, which was
Boonville or not Boonville, Badger kind of was, but it
kind of
was
was. Yeah.
flat, but yeah, a
Right.
little
Right.
bit different.
Definitely, it's definitely a trail, but like not like a technical up and down trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's like 4,500 feet of gain. So I mean, for Illinois, not bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've put on my trail shoes, been running like concrete, basically strictly since I've been here. So I can't wait to be out in the trails again. Um, should be really fun. So obviously we get to see each other, and it's good to see Hillary, and sounds like maybe one or two other friends are gonna be able to join, whether racing or just coming out and hanging out. So yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Do you think you're gonna get out to Vets Acres at all and run it
Yeah,
before?
probably. I probably will, since like that's on the calendar now. It's only like 50 minutes for me, so go like on a Saturday or a Sunday and just go for a loop or two. I think absolutely I'm gonna get out there before the race. I think most of the races I've ever done, I like the first time I've experienced the course is like when the gun goes off, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of fun to that too. Because like it's all new, but it's so close. It's only 50 minutes away. I mean, I think I'll probably go one of these weekends. Obviously, it won't be this weekend because I got the 50K. It might not be next weekend because I got the Cubs game. It may be like the weekend of the 10th, which I guess is
Which
the
is the
weekend
weekend
right
before
before.
the race.
So maybe not. I don't know. I guess it is only in like 4 weeks. So shit, I don't know. Maybe
It's
I won't.
nuts.
Maybe I'll just keep the train going of experiences for the first time when the gun goes off. I guess
Kind of fun.
it only is 3 weeks away or 4 weeks away, whatever it is. So we'll see.
Yeah. And then I think too with like
I
a
guess 3 weeks
trail,
from this Friday or three weeks from this Saturday.
3 weeks from Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a fun thing too with trails and especially single track trails, going out the first time and experiencing it day of, if you try, I feel like if you try to go and run the route in a single track trail,
yeah,
probably won't do it exactly correct. So you could just kind of fudge,
right.
fudge your thought or fudge how you perceive the route to actually be. I did that with Psycho Waiko. I went down and ran what I thought was the 10K loop and like had a map and everything, but ended up being kind of right, but also kind of wrong.
Right.
Just kind of fucked with my head, but
Yeah, and I feel like part of it too is like you at least for me personally, I feel like I'm extra cautious if it's a looped course in the first loops. I'm like I don't really know what this is going to be. Like I don't want to kill
Mhm.
myself, which always ends up at least benefiting me because I'm not a fast runner anyways. So I'd rather take the first one slow, like not kill myself, and like feel confident about the next couple loops.
And then
Just kind of know
sprint the
what to
last 5.
yeah, right. Sprint at like a 14-minute pace.
Yeah.
But no, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yep. It's gonna be a great time. I think they're also doing wave starts.
Yes, I saw
I
that. I
think
saw
there's
that
like
today.
300 up to 300 participants.
Oh, for real?
I think so. That might have also been like last year's details or last year's information
Okay.
because that seems like a lot of people on a
Does seem like a
5 mile
lot.
course
Right. I don't know how they do that with. It
with
seems like a lot
COVID.
of single track too. I have
Yeah.
no idea how big it is. All I know there was like 30 slots left when we signed up, like 30
Yep.
and change. So
Yep.
I have no idea. No idea how big it is.
Yep. Doesn't
But
matter.
yeah,
We're gonna
can't wait.
show up and we're gonna have a great time and probably not kick ass, but just enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm actually now that we're talking about it. Now this is a very good podcast, but podcast
That was
timing. But
fantastic.
I'm gonna look up now. I'm curious because I don't know how big. Um,
Capacity?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at what the current start list looks like for this one. So I think I
Oh,
can
that's a good
do
idea.
this. Let me
And then you
see
can do
here.
use deductive reasoning to determine how many slots they're allowing.
There are a lot of. Let me see here. I'm gonna type in.
Does it have like a count?
It does not on the side, no. But I'm gonna type in result. Looks like right now there's. Oh no, it does it right there, right here. 117 entrants right now
Okay.
for the
So I wonder if
50K.
it's 150.
Yeah, I mean there's like yeah there's probably like 33 left, so it's about 150 people.
Okay.
So if
That
they
makes
probably do like
that's
three
better.
waves, something like that. I don't something like that, and
Yep.
we'll see. But yeah, 150
Yep.
is right, correct. Yep,
Yep.
it's
I'm
about half
stoked.
from last year.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
And they do have a 15 miler and a 5 miler. So I wonder if between like, because right now it looks like there's 69 entrants, nice for the 5 miler,
Nice.
and 140 entrants for the 15 miler. And that's on 15 and the 5 miler on Sunday.
Okay.
50K is on Saturday. So I wonder if like normally there's like 300 between all of them. I don't know. But
Maybe.
anyways, we're in, so that'll be fun. Can't wait.
Yep. I'm stoked. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to have to slow down for people to pass. I'm happy to pass people again. It's gonna be great. And me personally, this is not selfish. I'm still obviously gonna be masked up and social distance, but I should be fully vaccinated
Nice.
and have that 2 week lapse at that
Right.
point too.
That's
So
super nice. That's super
again,
nice.
not gonna be dangerous or acting
Of
recklessly, but
course.
that's just
But
another
just
thing that in the back of the head, it's a little kind of nice.
reassuring for yourself for sure.
Yep,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
exactly.
Awesome. Well, I mean, anything else you want to recap? I know that the main focus of this one was just kind of recapping 50K, your 50K this weekend. But anything else you want to kind of touch on before we let the people go?
I don't think so. Yeah, I had a great time last weekend. I know you're going to have a great time this weekend. Do you have? I guess yeah, I do have another couple things. Do you have any goals for this coming race?
No, I think just going out there and like having like a positive attitude and just like being like thankful that I'm get to toe the line again. So that's really it. I thought briefly for having like a time goal, then it was like, then I thought, you know what, don't put that pressure on myself because I don't want this to be like a thing where if I don't hit that, to feel anything else besides like excited to be back out there. So I didn't want to
Yep.
put any pressure on myself to hit X amount of hours, X amount of time, and then not hit that and feel bad because I want to just be like, hey, I'm back out there for the first time in 18 months. Happy to be out there with this awesome community. So no goals besides enjoying the time. Maybe make a friend or two just from chatting with new people, and that's it. So
I love it.
no expectations besides having fun, giving it my all and crossing the finish line. So
I love it. Nothing else needed. Just
yep,
go out there, try to have fun. Put one foot in front of the other.
yep, and hopefully the weather's nice. If not, embrace the rain or whatever it is, and enjoy the views that the shoreline has to offer in Chicago. So be looking at the skyline, looking at the lake. So it'll be a good time.
Yep. Good deal.
Awesome,
Well, I got nothing else for you.
awesome. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll catch you next week.
See ya. Bye.